When would you use an acid versus an enzyme in your skincare routine? Stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back. Christine Byer here, licensed esthetician for 21 years. And right now there is a plethora of acids available, even probably too strong of acids available online and everywhere you look. And I have questions all the time. It's like, what should I use to exfoliate? When should I exfoliate? And the answer is, depends on your age and how much buildup you have, how sensitive your skin is. Are you oily? Are you oily in your T-zone, etc., etc.? Are you dry? Basically, a couple different types of exfoliations. You can do chemical exfoliations, or you can do physical exfoliations, like with a scrub or microdermabrasion, where they blow aluminum oxide crystals onto the skin and suck them off at the same time. So that's basically physical exfoliation in two ways, where they're blowing them on, and so it's abrasive and then it sucks it off. So it's abrasive and sucking, sort of. That used to be all there was when I first got into skincare. It was like microdermabrasion, that was it, and glycolic peels, that was all we had. And then LED came out and all these fun stuff started to happen. So nowadays we have so many choices. So I would say if you are an oily skin type and you just tend to get a big accumulation, I would go with an acid. This is my Glowing Exfoliating Gel. This is great for acne skin types. It's great for if you have a very sluggish skin that is sun damaged, that has a lot of pigmentation that you want to start to work on. And then there's enzymes, and enzymes work in a completely different way. Enzymes and acids work in completely different ways in the skin. So an acid, if you look at the cells of the skin, that epidermal layer where it's all dead tissue essentially, and you're looking at it and it kind of looks like a wall, right? It's got the bricks, which are the cells that used to be the big juicy cells, and then it has the intercellular glue, which was the fluid in between, right? So that's cemented in by this intercellular glue now, which would be like the mortar. So acids can eat through many layers of that mortar, so the intercellular glue, so it can go zip, 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 zip down several layers of dead skin cells, right? So it sort of cuts through them. Whereas an enzyme is more like Pac-Man, and it eats off the cells one by one from the top layer of the skin. So enzymes tend to be less drying and more tolerable than acids. So which one do you need? Like I said, you can play around with both. I like to change it up just to give my skin some variety. So if I feel like I've got a lot of buildup, I'll go in with my Glowing Exfoliating Gel. And this is a blend. God, this is such a beautiful product. It's 8% alpha and beta hydroxy acids. And you just go in and you can either use this, you brush it on, and you can just use your fingers, but it comes out of the little hole there. And you brush it on, and you can leave it on like a peel and wash it off in 10-15 minutes, or you can let it do its thing for a few minutes, 5 minutes, and then put on your next skincare product, and it works well both ways. Now I would say if you have a tougher skin, you can go ahead and leave it on, but this has CBD in it, the entourage that comes in the hemp plant. It won't get you high, no, but it has CBD, the terpenes and everything from the hemp plant, the cannabis plant. Those tend to be super free radical scavengers, and they tend to be very anti-inflammatory and calming to the skin. So the blend of the 8% fruit acids plus those CBDs that calm the skin. I don't know if you ever used a CBD oil for like arthritis or muscle pain, but those terpenes are fantastic anti-agers as well. So you would use this either as a peel and then take it off after 10-15 minutes, or you can leave it on for by itself for about 5 minutes and then put your next serum or your moisturizer on top. If you want to do a gentler exfoliation, this Enzyme cream mask. This is actually my professional size. They have a smaller size that you can buy, but this is the professional size, and this is such a creamy formula. I just love this. Oh, I just put quite a bit on there. Quite a bit. So this is an enzyme, and it's also it's got some clay in there, but it tends to be overall hydrating. This is such an interesting little mask. It's one of those sleeper masks that nobody really talks about very much, but it's wonderful for hydrating and taking off those dead skin cells. So this, you can actually do microcurrent right over it. I would really only do that for maybe 5 minutes because it really super penetrates the enzymes. And the face turns a little bit red, but it returns to baseline very quickly. But yeah, I didn't even know that I could do microcurrent right over this. Now, it's not something I would normally do microcurrent over, but if I am crunched for time and I got to make somebody look amazing and I wanted to start microcurrent while they're under this mask, I will start them, then remove it and then saturate the face with a conductive gel and move on. And don't do it very often, but just saying, if you were in a time crunch, you could. Because this is mineral packed, and minerals are what carry the current, right? All right, so let's go ahead and wash this off. I'm just gonna sponge it off or towel it off. I love the way this makes the hand look and the skin, obviously. It's very hydrating, but you don't find that very much. Yeah, I needed that. You don't find that very much in an enzyme mask. So that's it. Enzymes are Pac-Men, and acids tend to just eat up the mortar or the intercellular glue and go zip, 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 zip down many layers. And that's why they can be a little more irritating to the skin or a little more drying to the skin. So, but there are acids with giant molecules or have big fat molecules, for example, lactic acid, that tends to be great for anti-aging and pigmentation and the like. So it's less drying because of that big fat molecule that sort of sits on top. And it does exfoliate, but it doesn't zip, zip, zip through all the layers of the bricks or the cells like glycolic. Glycolic acid is such a tiny molecule. I find it interesting to see it coming back a little bit here in my treatment room. I've all but stopped using it because unless it's in a blended formula, I find, with other acids, I find it to be a wild card. Sometimes I'll use it on a client and their skin looks gorgeous afterwards. And then sometimes I'll use it on a client and their skin looks blotchy and crazy. And I spend the rest of the facial trying to backtrack and heal the skin up and get it to look normal again. So it's such a wild card for me, glycolic acids, that I tend to use them very lightly or hardly at all, or not at all. But I see it resurgence, this little resurgence of glycolic acid. And on some skin types, they're great with it. But just know that it overall has a drying effect on the skin, and to use it sparingly. Talk to you later. Bye now.